It's Thursday, the 7th of April, 2022. Welcome to the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Morning, Michael.
All right, 5 stories to race through in 5 minutes. Let's get into it. Story number 1, house prices, Sean, are under pressure, with experts warning that the Reserve Bank's shift in policy on interest rates this week is set to hurt the market.
Several of the major banks now expect house prices to fall next year, as does AMP Capital's Shane Oliver. Data provider CoreLogic and online real estate group Domain are both forecasting a drag on prices because of higher interest rates. There's some pretty heavy hitters in the market. Of course, it does come after a record run for the property market, notwithstanding the pandemic, with prices up more than 20% in many cities and regions last year. Of course, on Tuesday, the Reserve Bank dropped its insistence that it will be patient on interest rates and price pressures. As a result, the consensus among market economists is that the first rate hike in 12 years will occur in June. The problem is persistent inflation. We need to get on top of that. The big question is how much they'll move. The cash rate 0.1%. Everyone thought they'd go to 0.25%, but people think maybe it's more. The implication of falling property prices, well, it's not so good if you've just bought a house. It's great if you're going to buy a house, but most of us aren't in those boats. The real impact is that it hits consumer confidence, and also people don't feel as wealthy. As a result, they don't spend less, and that's where it hurts the economy.
All right, on to story number 2, Sean, and it's a very quick one. The federal election, when is it going to be called?
Well, it's not today, because Prime Minister Scott Morrison was asked directly yesterday whether or not he'd do it today, and his response was no. And then he was asked about the weekend, and he totally avoided the question. He said, it'll be done in good time. So, Michael, I reckon this weekend is pretty good tip on that one, I'd say. Obviously, Mr. Morrison and his opponent, Anthony Albanese, are already on the hustings, but I reckon this weekend we'll find out all about it.
All right. Now, story number 3, Sean's a pretty serious one, actually. And it comes from the Bureau of Statistics, with figures showing that COVID-19 was the 38th leading cause of death in 2020, which was the first year of the virus, with 898 fatalities.
In fact, Australia, along with New Zealand and Denmark, was one of the few countries that recorded a lower death rate during the first year of the pandemic. The 5 leading causes of death remain unchanged. And in fact, COVID didn't make a big dent in it. Those leading causes are heart disease, dementia, including Alzheimer's, cerebrovascular diseases, lung cancer, and chronic lower respiratory diseases. The good news, assuming you're not too old, is that most people actually die of illness when they are old. Some of the other disturbing numbers, I suppose, and diabetes is in number 7 on the list, accidental falls is number 11, and self-harm comes in at number 15.
Yeah, pretty tragic. All right, story number 4, Sean. VW, and I drive a VW, so I have a bit of an interest in this story, but I think obviously hundreds of thousands of people in Australia probably do. VW has announced a major change in direction.
Yes, it used to be known as a people's car, particularly in Europe, and it's quite sad. It's actually totally changed direction. It will axe dozens of combustion engine models by 2030 and sell fewer cars to concentrate on producing more profitable premium vehicles. So it's quality and margins rather than volume and market share. Now, it currently has around 100 models, and that'll be cut to about 40 by 2030. A big change for that organisation.
Yeah, it sure is. Story number 5, Sean. Look, and I know we do the top 5 business stories, and this one is really kind of only loosely linked to business, but it is such a feel-good story that we have to mention it. Bunnings has been promoting its oldest employee, Harold, who is 91 years old.
Bunnings posted the story on LinkedIn. He works in the Canberra airport store. He's the oldest team member and has been working, one way or another, for 75 years. He started as a fitting and machinery apprentice, became a mechanical engineer, and now works the registers at Bunnings in Canberra. He helps customers, and apparently he chats to them about their DIY projects. Now, Michael, I love the fact that he joined the company as a junior when he was 87 years old. Good on you, Harold.
That is a fantastic story and a great way for us to finish today, Sean, with the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Thursday, the 7th of April, 2022. Remember to hit follow on the podcast, and if 5 minutes isn't enough and you want a few more stories, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed on your podcast platform. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast Five by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.